Okay, let's try this inking thing again. Alright, what I've got here is a page that has a lot of shadows. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do what's called spotting blacks. Okay. Now it may seem backward to fill the blacks in first, but you know, that's how you do it. That's how you make sure a page is balanced. Now, a lot of this back through here, I'm probably not going to fill in. I can do that more easily digitally. Okay. But for the figures and all that, in order to have that hand-drawn feel, I want to do that by hand. Now, what I am using here, this is a Pentel brush pen. They're like 12 bucks, Amazon. Really nice tool. Okay. Has a nice brush tip to it. Also got a card over here that I will use to resharpen my tip. Okay. Then we'll start filling in areas of black. Notice the line quality you can get using a brush. Now this is true if you're using a brush pen or you're using a camel hair brush or something like that. It's all pretty much the same. You have a nice tapered line. You can play with the thickness and the width of it much more easily than you can with a pen. I used to hate inking with a brush, but I actually prefer it. Now, I'm not going to get super close to some of these edges here because I want to actually go in and clean up those edges using a pen. Just a little bit of a line here to suggest a bit of a collar on this guy's shirt. This is my character of Arnza. He's an Etruscan, and a real throwback to the kind of comic strips that I'm a big fan of. Comic strips of the 1930s and 40s, where the hero was quite often not the burly guy. In this case, the burly guy is the sidekick. Now you can use a marker for this as well, but I think it's actually quicker and easier to use a brush, or in this case, like I said, a brush pen. And just like in class, we are listening to Pink Floyd. So it's always a good idea to have your shadows worked out beforehand. Okay, now this, the light and dark that I've got going on here, is actually based on, believe it or not, a photograph. I took some reference photos of a little, what we call a maquette, which is a small model of these figures. I usually have models of any character that I think I might want to pursue as a feature or a series or a graphic novel or anything like that. And ours is no different. There. That's the nice thing about inking. You know, people say that inking is just tracing, but it's not. Actually, you wind up making a lot of line weight decisions and things like that as you go. I'm using the side of the brush pen right now to fill in large swaths of black. And some people, when they ink, they like to have their page be loose and free-floating so they can turn their page any way that they want in order to, instead of turning your hand this way and that. I don't like to do that personally. Oh yeah. Let's I'm not going to fill all that in because I want to do some of that with a pen. Here's the thing about inks. A lot of people tend to tighten up a bit when they're inking, and you can't do that. If you tighten up and you get tentative with your inks, then it's not going to look like your inks. One of the hardest things to do is to have your inks really look like they should. A little bit of a shadow being cast by his tunic. I'm not going to fill that in quite all the way. I want to leave a little bit of a line there in between the leg and the tunic. Same is true for like down here. All spots where I know it's going to be filled in black, I can kind of go ahead and do that. Refine the area. I'll do the same thing over here. Okay, so if I were doing the whole page as part of this demo, I would go through and fill in all the blacks first. I'm not going to do that because that's going to take quite a bit of time. So I think what I'll do is I'll just do this figure as part of this video, and we'll go from there. Okay, so filling in. These shadows are going to taper off a little bit, so I can kind of hint at that right there, but I'll probably do that a little bit more in a bit. Let me fill in this little area back here, back part of his cloak. And then let's see, back here. Nice thick lines. All right, now let's see. This character actually has a, I changed it slightly. I have him wearing a headband now, which is much more in line with what a character that arrow would try and control his hair with. So what I'm doing here is, instead of just filling in black, I'm also kind of aware of the areas of light and dark and how they're going to shine on his hair. So highlights, areas of light and dark. Notice how nice a fine just a little more filled in because there wouldn't be as much in the way of shine right there. There. That just suggests that he's wearing a headband. Alright. Okay. Now, the tricky part with this is figuring out how we want to do, I think, the nostrils. So if we got a light coming over from here, I want a dark here, but I'm going to have some light here. So I'll fill in the underside of the nose there.